What is up, guys? I've just finished playing Telltale Games The Walking Dead's DLC 400 Days, and I just wanted to give you my brief thoughts on it. I'm not going to do a full review like I usually do, because you do really need to play the game yourself and not see any gameplay and kind of not know anything about the game really, and play it yourself so you do get a full understanding. So and that's a heads up as well, I'm not going to give any spoilers away in this video. But chances are, if you are watching this video, you have played The Walking Dead, the original Walking Dead, of course. This one, the game of the year from last year, the episodic Walking Dead game from Telltale Games. Now this was their DLC, of course, called 400 Days, and it's broken down into 5 small storylines with 5 different characters. It's completely unrelated. Well, it's not completely unrelated to the original story. It does kind of follow on from it, but that's about all I'm going to say without any spoilers. But this one does, you do kind of need to play this DLC if you're planning to buy the future season 2 as well, because it is the bridge between season 1 and season 2. They are going to all kind of group together. I did read that decisions you've made in the first series impact some of the storyline in this DLC, which is true, and some of the decisions you make in this DLC will impact future storylines in season 2, which is something to look forward to as well. I really like that kind of unique idea that Telltale Games have gone through. Now, if you've played the original Walking Dead, this DLC is much the same. You're gonna love it straight away. Like I said, it's 5 different characters and 5 small storylines. And when I say small storylines, I really do mean quite small. It is very brief. You're kind of chucked right in at the deep end with these characters. You don't really get too much chance to get an understanding of the characters. But then you're kind of made to make rash decisions and kind of really quick decisions on the spot without knowing these characters too well, which sometimes can make it quite hard and can sometimes kind of really put you under pressure. But it really works because obviously The Walking Dead the game is supposed to keep you on your toes. You're supposed to be kind of in the moment, living the moment right there, and kind of doing what you think is best, and it puts you under real pressure. And like I said, if you've played the first series, it's much of the same stuff in this DLC. Now, as I said, it's broken down into 5 storylines. I'll keep glancing to the screen there because I've got a little synopsis of each storyline written on there. So one of the characters we've got is called Vince, and it says Vince's story starts a day after the outbreak and follows his arrest and adjustment to the zombie apocalypse among fellow inmates. So yeah, we play as Vince, and he's on his way to prison, and there's a few other characters in this prison bus, and then kind of all hell breaks loose on the bus really, and you kind of have to kind of live in the moment and keep on your toes and make rash decisions and everything. It's really cool. Like I said though, I won't go into too many spoilers. Next up, there's a character called Wyatt, which I really enjoyed Wyatt's character. It's one of the more realistic characters I've ever played in a video game. He's really kind of down to earth. He's really real. He's like us. He's a gamer. He's a gamer. He's a nerd. He's glasses, long hair. He looks really kind of geekish, and that's what these games are supposed to show. Just real people in their everyday lives. And you follow him. He's in a camp. He's got one of his friends in the car, and you're driving down the car, and you come across this accident. And like I said, I don't want to go into too much to spoil the details really, but I'll just give you a quick, brief, very brief understanding of the story of each character. Next up, we've got Russell. Russell's story is about him being picked up by an unstable stranger after hitchhiking along the road. That kind of speaks for itself. You're kind of put on the moment with the stranger. You don't know whether to trust him or not, and you're making really quick decisions, really quick judgment on these characters, whether you trust them or not. We've got Bonnie's story. Bonnie is a story about her being followed through a cornfield by a group of mysterious flashlight wielding figures and her subsequent attempts to defend herself. This was one of the more different storylines compared to the first series, because it tangled with the idea of love and the sort of real life elements happening in the zombie apocalypse, because this happens in day 220 of the apocalypse, so they're quite used to life in the zombie apocalypse now, and you're seeing the more realistic storylines like love and affairs and love triangles and things like that happening. And Telltale did well to kind of dabble with that idea. I look forward to seeing if they experiment more with it in season 2. We've got, and finally there's one more called Shell's story. Now Shell is very similar to the first series, where you've got a younger sister and you're kind of protecting her, you're in charge of her really, and that's your main focus, your sister. And this is probably the most similar story to the first season, Michelle. So and that was probably the longest as well. Talking of length, I think each episode takes around, I'd say, about half an hour to complete, some of them even less actually, and overall the whole DLC will take you about 2 hours at least to kind of complete it all. But it is good, it's worth it, it's very, very cheap. In the UK it was only $3.99, and I'm very happy to pay that. And I can't wait for season 2. It bridges the gap between season 1 and 2, like I said. And yeah, the ending of this DLC does kind of lead you on to wanting to see what happens in season 2, because you do get, sorry, my cat's being crazy over there, you do get, your mind is starting to fill up with theories about how these characters are going to kind of link into season 2. But yeah, that's about it. That's my thoughts on The Walking Dead 400 Days. If you've played the first season, definitely go out and buy this DLC. It's very cheap, and it is worth your money. It's awesome stuff. So yeah, thank you for watching this video, guys. Leave your comments down below if you've played it, and I'll see you in my next video.